A happy Shabbat, my listener, my subscriber, my honorary members of Tukoriada. Welcome to the channel that exposes you to the reality of athletics. We're gonna fly British Airways. We are in London, and here are the quick results. It was a packed stadium. It was Olympic-like stadium. 60,000 showed up. Those Londoners, the Brits love their athletics. Let's not forget this where it happened 2020, 2012 Olympics. You have memory. And we're going to start with the event that broke world records in London those 13 years ago, the 800 meters. It was hyped up. It was so hyped up by the commentators, but I kind of knew that the appetite for the world record had to be lowered. The expectations must be lowered. We have to come down from that hype. And so when the 800 meters man was lined up, the commentators were salivating for something spectacular. Where's David Rudisha like world record? Is this going to happen? Then, of course, London tends to spew it. They tend to do what they call the weather factor, which is it was raining, wet conditions, and that didn't cope very well with the athletes. You think of warming up for an event like 800, it's wet conditions, it's London, packed stadium, which makes for a good show. But the reality for athletes is when it's wet in London, it's just not good. But it doesn't take away from what happened in the 800, my man, because Max Bergen, the local kid, was ready to go. Marco Arop was ready to go. Of course, the gold medalist Emmanuel Wanyonyi was with us, as he is all the time. And what does he do? Hold on a minute. Don't get too excited. Because even right there, there's Donovan Brazier. Bryce Hoppel, the Americans are there. I'm watching this event like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen? And I like the fact that you have to see what you see and you have to study what you study, which I'm a good student. I observe athletes, I observe how they introduce, who is excited, who is overly excited. And then the gun went off. The fast 200 as usual. It's a matter of positioning yourself, coming off the turn. Who gets the fast shake? Marco Arop had to adjust his long strides from Canada. And we come to the bell, 49-1. Hey, what's going to happen? Well, the back straight, if you watch that event, the back straight, the next 300 meters to go, Marco Arop decides, well, let me make my move, 115. Mohamed Atoui, the Spaniard, goes with him. And then this is when I find that Emmanuel Wanyonyi, not only is he a gold medalist, not only is he a winner, he's become what I call the mountaineer from Mount Elgon, smart guy. He tells them, you can go on the curve. I've done 800 so many meters, guys. There's one thing you don't do. You don't make your move. You don't show your cards too early. You don't show everything. You have to leave one up the sleeve. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, if you watched it carefully, his Marco Arop runs for home with 200 meters to go. Well, 115 at the 600. Ha! You know, one thing I've realized about 800 meters over the years is that it's never over. Even if you decide you're going to take, unless you really give them a gap. And Marco Arop, let me tell you something. I like his guts. I think his statement when he was in Philadelphia saying, I'm going to dominate, obliterate competition. I think he has that deep inside, but he hasn't been tested yet. I mean, in Monaco, he did what I call, what is going on, Marco, when he went to the back and thought he was going to run people to the ground. That's how you dominate and obliterate and destroy competition. This time around, he thought he was going to do it with 300 to go, 250 to go. Well, let me tell you something, Marco Arop. Wanyonyi is around, and he's done this with you all the time. Just be careful what you show him. He showed him too early, too soon, because you can tell mentally. It's not about physical here, it's mentally. Emmanuel Wanyonyi has an edge on Marco Arop. If it comes down the last 50 meters, and Emmanuel is around. Maybe I think I remember Marco Arop has done this with him once. But I think as time goes on, you realize that mentally, Emmanuel Wanyonyi has an edge. And I like what commentators said about the race at the end of it. One of the lady commentators was like, oh, you know, Emmanuel Wanyonyi is lucky he found a gap in the inside lane in the home straight and beat Marco Arop. That's not luck, my friend. That is what I call being smart. Being a race tactician, looking for that small weakness. Small things matter in the 800. There's no room for error. And when Marco Arop is passed by Emmanuel with 10 meters to go, he was crushed. You can tell the facial reaction is that I've been beaten again by this Mount Elgon Saboet guy. This is what I call masterpiece. 142 winning time is not just a winning, it's a statement as we march on to the World Championship. And then I like what Emmanuel Wanyonyi put there. He says, he goes four finger, 4 winning streaks. That's what you can look at. And this streak is hard to beat. I can anoint Wanyonyi right now in the World Championship, unless for something I don't know. Unless for some alien intervention. Somebody has been dropping the alien bomb around. Emmanuel Wanyonyi is the man to beat in the World Championship. Let's go through the rounds. If he's in the final, I don't care. I mean, I know Sejati, the Algerian, was not here. Tuhal, a French guy, was not in town. Well, Josh Owi was not in this package. Donovan Brazier, let me go back to Americans for a minute. Donovan Brazier, 143.08. That is his third race of the year since the injury that plagued him for 3 years. 4 surgeries, being out for 3 years. Donovan Brazier is becoming a man I'm cheering for. I know the world is cheering for his comeback. And he was interviewed by the floor track group there about post-race, and he was being asked about the love he's receiving from coming back from injuries. He had a tibia broken during his injuries. How do you recover from that? Ouch. This young guy is 28. He's an American right now. He got beat by Bryce Hoppel, who ran 142 in 142.7, which is decent time. So I'm looking at American depth in the 800 is really decent. You have Bryce Hoppel, you have Josh Owi, and you have Donovan Brazier coming back. And I think there's somebody else that I haven't mentioned here in the 800. Other than Emmanuel Wanyonyi in Kenya in the 800, I don't know. I think he's the hope we have in Kenya 800. I don't see what Kinyamal. Nobody else is really showing up in Kenya. And then you have other countries that have really put a stamp on the 800. For Donovan Brazier, for me, if he stays healthy going into the trials, he has to fight his way into the trials. And if he makes to the World Championship, I think people are rooting for him. I'm one of those people. When people come back from injuries, you root for them. But there's something else I've put about the 800 here for the men that ladies can borrow from if you want to take this route, if you want to just duplicate some of these things that are successful, is the fact that if you look at Donovan Brazier, he's been out for 3 years. He's had horrible injuries. For him to try his fitness and his race tactics, they were not the best, but I think he was trying the waters in Europe and mostly in London. He looked decent. He was 6th in a big field of quality. More I think could use some of this template to get herself to a place whereby she can compete at the world stage, even at the national stage. You have to get out there and try and see how you can look in front of the best, so you can compete against the best in the world. Maybe more thing can listen to this and try it out. Bob Corsi, get this young lady out there and have her compete. My take on the 800 right now is we are here ahead, way ahead of the World Championship. But I'm really getting excited about the chances of Emmanuel Wanyonyi being the man to beat in the 800 final. Everything being equal, his mental fortitude and his mental brilliance, tactician at the core, it's not luck. People don't say it's luck. There's no luck in the race. It's being looking for those moments where you can say, yeah, it is, and you go get it. Emmanuel Wanyonyi, 142. He didn't even panic. This guy didn't even panic when Mohamed Atoui and Arop took off at the 600 to go, 200 to go. He didn't panic. He said, I got this. And the moment came. The golden boy saw gold, and the win was his. Take it home, Emmanuel Wanyonyi. That's my take. I got too carried away on the 800, but I have to give you what I call holistic 800-meter outlook. And Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Marco Arop, and Max Bugan was 1, 2, 3 in London in the wet conditions of Tukoriada, London. The queen must be turning in her grave saying, what happened here?